Hello, Vasu. Thank
Hi
you
there.
for this opportunity to
Yeah.
be together today. Just for the pledge team and for the congregation, that they could hear a little bit about the time that you joined the church and then over all these years since maybe, what was it, 1965?
65, 66, somewhere
Yeah,
there. Don't remember
when
it
you
exactly.
joined. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And you've been a pledging member since then.
Pretty much. And
Wow.
in the beginning, our pledging was the lowest because I was on a college salary. And
Oh, yeah. I'm
So-
not talking about amounts.
Yeah,
We
no,
just mean
yeah.
that.
And I
that-
remember some people came over here, and one of them was Maribel came one time. So I remember that one time she was sitting right in this chair, and I mean, that is a part of it because how do you sustain a place without help from others? And it is very important. The more I have grown up and the more I have realized how important it is. And this goes into the politics too. I'm probably contributing more to politics now than I have ever done before. So that's where my and at that time Dr. Cole's sermons, we liked that very much. They were very good sermons and kind of kept us with us. And then came, then there was some, I think then Alan came. Now in between there were a few others too. Then Alan came, and then Anne came, and then there was other in between. That's when Barbara was sick. So and then obviously you have come here, and it's very good to have you. So that's where we started, and we felt strongly that we have to, for it to sustain, we have to contribute to the cause.
Right.
And help in our other ways too. We did other things too. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing your heart with us all.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Right.
If you were a wealthy church. Hey, hey.
Oh, that was beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, Jeannie Coates, thank you. Brilliant, brilliant. That's brilliant. Oh, thanks so much. And George, we're leaving that in the video. I don't want to hear it. But as we share in today's offering message, we mark the closing of our pledge drive, celebrated with our shared meal today, and we shift our attention to the heart of our weekly giving. We are grateful for this community of love and connection, and may these unusual days remind us of how much we mean to one another. We become aware of our accountability to offer generosity more fully and to support our congregation's well-being, to increase our community connection, and to see healthy growth in our communal lives. May our love shine forth from this place and from the sanctuary of each of our hearts, that others may know us for who we are. I'm sorry, I've got to, yeah. Somebody's messing with my text here. Yeah. It is with deep gratitude for the life that we share while we enjoy Lily's offertory. We bring our offerings forward, or we send them by PayPal, and we connect with the spirit of life in each other, with every being, and with the stars. Our offerings will now be joyfully given and received. Thank you, Lily. It was beautiful. Sharing our joys in sorrows is a wonderful element that we enjoy having as a part of our Sunday service. It helps us to stay in touch with each other's lives in ways that we wouldn't normally. I have several that were written out today. I will not put them in any order, but we'll read through them. One thing I'd like to do is invite the folks that are joining us by Zoom I don't see, Bob Taylor said he might be on there, but I don't see him there today. They are up in Cayucas, poor them. Yeah, Bob said he was going to try and join us so he could share for himself what is happening in his health life this week. But yeah, this one is from Phoebe. I am heading home to North Carolina for the summer. Oh, next week. Phoebe, thank you for letting us know. She writes, thank you all for welcoming me here and making me feel at home. We look forward to returning in August. Yes, absolutely. We'll keep the light on. This is from Maribel. It's a joy. She says her friend Henrico feared going to see her sister in Tocayo, who planned to end her life after many years of illness. But Tocayo's death day is May 5th in a Swiss clinic. I encouraged Hikiro to go, and she finally went last week. She said they had a wonderful visit and loved it. Now Tocayo's son will accompany her to Switzerland. Beautiful. This is from Reverend Sila Parker. Oh, you didn't put your name on it. Okay. Sorry. Let me start over. My daughter, this is from Ellen. My daughter, Catherine, just called me from her North Carolina church. They just elected their new minister, 100% vote, Reverend Sila Parker. Yes, good for them. Thank you. Now it makes sense. Oh, that's, well, we know, right? We know. Yeah. We knew that a year ago, right? And this one is from Don and the tech team. I am overjoyed that our view at home on Zoom has taken another big step further. Much work remains, but the future is bright. From Don and the tech team, yes, and thank you for all you have done. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, it really looks incredible. This one's from Amy Randall. Amy, I just want to come and hug you. Oh, on Friday, my sister Jenny lost her therapy canine companion, Monsi, to cancer. The family is having a difficult time. Yeah. And we are here to hold you in that grief, Amy. Sorry. And we will offer our prayers for your sister as she moves forward. I know it's difficult. I will light our candle of hope and witness in honor of your sister and in honor of her relationship with Monsi. I invite you to join me in a spirit of prayer and meditation. These words are written by our Pacific Western Region contact, Reverend Sarah Millspaw, and her husband John, who is also a minister. They wrote this together. It's called Be the Blessing That You Already Are. In our religious tradition, it is not just ministers and religious professionals who have the power to bless. Each of us has the power to bless one another and to bless the world. Therefore, I invite you, everyone here, to participate in this blessing. The words are ordinary words, but we make the blessing real through our shared intention. So I invite everyone who's here in the congregation to connect with someone next to them. We're going to build a little constellation, if you will. We'll build a constellation, either elbows or smile. You can make eye contact. I will leave that up to you. Just connect with those near you. Yes, blow a kiss. Yeah, that's right. As we have been blessed, so we bless one another to be a blessing. Let us breathe in and breathe out. This breath that we share with all that breathes. Feel the love of the universe flowing through this community, into you, and out into the universe again. Let your love flow forward, outward, out to its height, its depth, its broad extent. You are more than you know, and more beloved than you know. Take up what power is yours to create safe haven, to make of earth a heaven. Give hope to those you encounter that they may know safety from their inner and outer harm. Be happy and be at peace, healthy and strong, caring and joyful. Be the blessing that you already are, and that is enough. Blessed be, and amen. And we'll sing now. You can sing this from seated. It's a gentle song in the Teal hymnal, the second one in, number 1002. It's called Comfort Me. Our reading comes from one of our spiritual teachers. It's one of our favorites. It is called For One Who is Exhausted, a Blessing by John O'Donohue. When the rhythm of the heart becomes hectic, time takes on the strain until it breaks. Then all the unattended stress falls in on the mind like an endless, increasing weight. The light in the mind becomes dim. Things you could take in stride before now become laborsome events of will. Weariness invades your spirit and gravity begins falling inside you, dragging down every bone. The tide you never valued has gone out, and you are marooned on unsure ground. Something within you has closed down, and you cannot push yourself back to life. You've been forced to enter empty time. The desire that drove you has relinquished, and there's nothing else to do now but rest and patiently learn to receive the self that you have forsaken in this race of days. At first, your thinking will darken and sadness takes over like listless weather. The flow of unwept tears may frighten you. But you have traveled too fast over false ground, and now your soul has come to take you back. So take refuge in your senses and open up to all the small miracles that you rush through. Become inclined to watch the way of rain when it falls slow and free. Imitate the habit of twilight, taking time to open the well of color that fostered the brightness of day. Draw alongside the silence of stone until its calmness can claim you. Be excessively gentle with yourself. Stay clear of those who are vexed in spirit and learn to linger around someone of ease who feels they have all the time in the world. And gradually, you will return to yourself, having learned a new respect for your heart and the joy that dwells far within slow time. Our centering thought for today grabbed me right out of the pages of James Cruz's new book, Kindness Will Save the World, Stories of Compassion and Connection. James and I went to Drew University together, and we still enjoy how our lives are connected across the sky and on Facebook. He on the East Coast in Vermont, and me with you here on the far left. The words come from beloved poet and teacher John O'Donohue in his book, Eternal Echoes, Celtic Reflections on Our Yearning to Belong. They capture and express a vision for a relationship that gifts us all with a curiosity that calls us toward wonder. Perhaps community is a constellation, each one of us a light in the emerging collective brightness. A constellation of light has a greater power of illumination than any single light would have on its own. Together, we increase brightness. James uses O'Donohue's words as a prompt and his reflection on an experience he had at a coffee shop with a barista who offered him kind words and a warm smile that he carried away and shared with several other people that day. He credited that spark between them with opening his awareness to the incredible value within intentional interconnectedness and our capacity to touch and change the course of the stars that guide us through our days, evidenced for James by a warm and genuine greeting that sparked a smile that overflowed him all day. Awe and wonder that an often robotic exchange of coffee for cash instead brought them a deeper kinship, and an act of connection that affirmed his deepest hope that there truly is a current of kindness that runs through us all, ready to be acknowledged and activated. And when we do that with intention, when we see and hear and honor the person before us, it lights up our connections and creates a bond that can offer a very grounded sense of belonging, an awareness of worth in ourselves and in one another, and a refreshed hope for a world that will be healed, a world that will be healed by kindness and compassion through connection. But it takes a shift in awareness that embraces our identity that, as Carl Sagan taught us, we are made of star stuff. We are invited to also embrace the awareness that we are here near to one another with great purpose, and that together we create a constellation of community that is formed to chart great adventures that are sourced in and empowered by the entire incredible universe. Each week as I write my Sunday message to you, I invite George to wrestle with me on the central lesson and help me to shape it into a helpful vision, a lodestar, if you will. But this week, though, our wrestling was a bit more like boxing. Our shared love for the universe comes from a polarized perspective. His comes through the 100-inch scope at Mount Wilson, and mine comes through what my heart feels when I stare into the night sky of complete darkness at Yosemite. I wanted to talk about how the stars all work together to create a peaceful, universal love. And after pondering that a bit, George asked me if I was becoming a Republican. He said I was making truth out of what I wanted to be true. But truth be told, both of us, both of our perspectives have merit and gives us takeaways that can inspire us all long into the week ahead. When I stargaze while we walk Sophie at night, I have to squint to overcome the light pollution from Los Angeles, but I know that it's there, and we can almost see it anyway. We enjoy spotting the constellation's brightest identifiers, and I invite you to see them with me as a metaphor in the spirit of John O'Donohue, so we can wonder that perhaps, just perhaps, our community is a constellation. Perhaps we can see a resemblance to our star relatives as we stand in awe of them. Perhaps we're able to see ourselves as Cephas or his nearby wife, Cassiopeia. Are there elements of their archetypes within us? Can we imagine ourselves as a warrior like Perseus? I vote no, because he's known to have beheaded my beloved curly-haired Medusa in her sleep. But perhaps we are Ursa Minor, hanging out over those gorgeous San Gabriel Mountains, identifying as both a little bear and a little dipper, presenting ourselves to the world as Polaris, a guiding light to both mariners and mermaids, and for those who prefer science over myth, a lodestar. Can we see Unitarian Universalism in this community as the much sought after true north that the world needs so much right now? In many ways, it can be. The stars have been used as mirrors to the soul since time began, and they remain our teachers if we allow them. Constellations and community have a lot to teach us about how we see ourselves. While the 5 stars of Ursa Major make up the Big Dipper, we are approximately 80, and those stars are approximately 80 light years apart from each other. We see them as pieces to a puzzle, fit closely together for our viewing pleasure from a distance of 330,000 light years. There's something to be said for stepping back to shift perspective, but that bone-deep belonging of community only happens up close. The further away we perceive the lights of Los Angeles as we fly into LAX, the more fairy-taled is our sense of arriving home after a long flight. Also, whether we're looking at the famous Earthrise photo taken from Apollo 8 astronaut William Anders in 1968, or the pale blue dot image that Carl Sagan requested from Voyager 1 in 1990. The more beautiful it seems to appear, but the further we are from the very real mess that we've made of the Earth. And so it can be with our perspective of community. If we only look from a distance, we're missing the heart of belonging. From a distance, our vision is incomplete, our knowledge is skewed, and our engagement isn't viable. But the closer we come, and the deeper we engage with one another in the living out of our Unitarian Universalist faith, the more accountable we are to its forming and its growth and its sustainability. Yet still, for some, because of previous experiences, that coming close takes a lot of courage, and maybe more courage than they can muster at this time. There were harms that were done in the past, and it feels so good to know that we all who are here work very hard to prevent causing any further harm. And we're learning how to honor those who have struggled with experiences, and we can extend grace and empower them to decide for themselves their best way forward, to choose the healthiest way for them to heal. And so we choose to keep getting healthier and to learn new ways of being in community, ways to grow and to change, ways to create a safer, braver, and wiser congregation as we step into these days ahead, knowing that because the more we step in and the closer we are to our core, the greater our input and our outcome. The closer we step together, the more we can envision the best way forward now, after all we've been through together. And sometimes that does require that we look at familiar things with a sharper vision in order to see things that we assumed were correct, that need to be opened more. Without the Webb telescope, the stars that we now know are actually galaxies were only known in part. What we thought we knew was totally incorrect. Oh, that feels a little freeing to say that. So let's say that together. What we thought we knew was totally incorrect. What we thought we knew was totally incorrect. The James Webb Space Telescope was a Christmas gift to the world as it launched during the COVID lockdown on Christmas Day 2021. And its gifts continue to be opened. What we thought we knew about the constellations continues to unfold and expand beyond the imaginations of Ptolemy and every astronomer that has followed in his footsteps. So in that way, perhaps community is like a constellation. And perhaps we can see our beloved MVUUC in that way, through that telescope and microscope, that we are ever expanding, that we are made up of star stuff, and we are much more incredible than we ever imagined. And we're still exploring all that we are together and imagining all that we can become to bring our light out into the world. May it be so. Amen. And blessed be. Our ascending song today is sung in tribute to the life of Harry Belafonte, who passed away this week at 96. Bless him, as he has blessed us. There is a song in our teal hymnal, I think it's the last one, number 1074, and it can be a little bit confusing for those who aren't familiar with it to sing. So we've asked the choir to take a lead on it, but please join in as we sing our ascending song, Turn the World Around. And if you would come and extinguish our chalices this morning, we will all read together our benediction in your order of service. This is the message of our faith: to act with passion in the face of injustice, to love with courage in the midst of life's challenges, to live with the light of our chalice flame. May it empower our hearts until we are together again. And of course, we all know we're all starting to smell what the potluck is going to taste like really soon. And I have a little blessing. It's actually a poem written by one of our ministers who lives here in Upland, retired minister Dory Summers. She's an incredible poet. And she wrote a great little blessing. But first, we'd like to hear the postlude from Lily, and then I'll offer the blessing on the meal. Reverend Dory's words are, "Welcome, come have lunch." Deeper than simple truth lies this cosmic reality that all of life hearkens to the call for survival. Creatures, no matter how great or how small, mites, bunnies, grandmother whales, give those they love, those they treasure or parent, food or access to food, literally keeping them alive. Thus, it is at the family dinner table, which may be the holiest of altars, where even more is shared than survival. Loving you, it brings me joy to give you sustenance and something good to eat. Here we share our stories, our lives, our support. Here is love. Welcome. Come, let's have lunch.